Oh, wow.
Big names, big songs, big guests, big prizes.
Well, it's a big show.
The Big Show.
Put your hands together for the one and only
Glenn, Angel, FD, and Sean.
That's what I'm talking about.
1FM 91.3. Good times, greatest hits.
1, 2, 3.
Good morning and welcome to the big show right here on 1FM 91.3. We are also on the Big Show TV for those of you who are watching us exclusively on your big TVs. I think it goes up to like 86 inches now.
The largest one now.
Ridiculous, yeah.
86 inches.
So for those of you who are watching us right now, I'm sure you can see the zit that I have
Oh, dear.
over here.
And for those of you who are just listening to us on the radio, welcome Adrian Chu. It is what is it, Thursday?
It's Happy at Work Thursday.
There you go. I keep forgetting because we're not at work. We actually enjoy what we do.
Having fun.
Good morning, Adrian.
Good morning, gang, and good morning, Singapore. Good morning, world. Always great and happy to be here. It's a wet and cold and chilly Thursday morning, isn't it?
It's nice though.
It is. It is.
But we're so wide awake here in the studio.
We are.
Good thing we have no windows because if we look out and we see the rain,
Feel like sleeping.
we feel like going back to bed again. But for those of you who are tuning in for the very first time, because we're getting converts on a daily basis, people are coming over and listening to the Big Show. They're spreading the word. Adrian is our career strategist from careeragility.org.
Okay, Adrian.
Always happy to be here, guys.
Today we're talking about job hoppers and who they are and whether it's good or bad. Before we get into that, though, I want to deal with something we've talked about before. Zoom, these virtual meetings, Zoom, Google, MS Teams, there's so many different platforms you can use. And we've always said that having your camera on was the polite thing to do. Okay, so MIT in the United States has come up with some research that says using your camera on numerous Zoom calls creates Zoom fatigue. We know this. It puts extra pressure on you. But they've also, being MIT, they have come out and said that using your camera increases your personal carbon footprint by 96%. So with saving the planet, what are your thoughts? Do I now use my camera or don't I use my camera?
I don't know, man. Number one, always use your camera when you're on Zoom, period. Okay, because you want to have your presence projected to the people that matter. And you want people, right now we're already having a distance economy where we're not even having physical meetings. The last thing you want to do is to have no video at all, right? So it's very impersonal. And as we said before, it's kind of rude as well.
Yes.
So always have it on because there are more pros than cons. About carbon footprint, I'm wondering what camera MIT was using, some industrial strength camera. So no, I mean the carbon footprint from a camera is not going to be much, right?
Well, we had this conversation earlier and I was arguing that if you use your mobile phone, you will notice that if your video is on during a virtual call, your battery heats up and your battery levels drop. And for that very reason, you have to charge it more. And sometimes even with reception as well, if you turn off your camera, you get a better reception than if the camera is on. So it does kind of make sense.
Yeah. Are you getting a better reception now? For those of you watching us on the Big Show TV?
We much prefer your thumbnail, Glenn. Yes.
Yeah.
There is a difference though. My thumbnail, that's a younger me.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I'm switching it back on. I don't feel at ease here. I feel like I'm being rude.
Yeah, it is, right? But how much carbon footprint can you reduce by turning off the camera?
96%.
96% apparently.
It was studied.
How much?
But if you want to really reduce your carbon footprint, I mean, first thing you can do, maybe you lower the brightness on your monitor. That will probably save more energy.
Okay. That's a good idea.
True.
If you really want to, maybe you shut off the lights. Eat fewer beans or whatever it is. You can reduce your carbon footprint in other ways. Okay, so
that is true as well. Yeah.
I think it's more of in the bigger scheme of things, it's not. I don't think it's going to be that much, 96%, even though the stats may show it.
Okay.
In the bigger scheme of things, leave the camera on, smile, put on a happy face, and show all your business partners and colleagues and bosses what a good-looking person you are.
So I like that. I knew you would say that. Okay, I told FD, I said, don't be a troublemaker. just don't do this story. Just pretend you didn't come across this story, making it hard for the bosses, who are telling their employees to please leave your camera on. Now they have an excuse.
Adrian's brought up a good point. If it is the only polite way to deal, then use the camera, but make up for it in other ways in your life.
Yes. Turn off all the lights in your room while you're having this meeting.
Stop eating meat.
I mean, that's the case for everything, right? I mean, we want to be more sustainable, but there are things that we can't give up, so we try to make it up in other areas.
Ways. Yes, in other ways.
That should be the way anyway.
Yes, absolutely.
You're just troublemaker, FD, for bringing this up.
When we go on to our Big Show TV, we're going to find out a little bit more about today's definition of job hoppers.
Meantime, here's OMC, How Bizarre on The Big Show, 1FM 91.3. Good morning.
How bizarre.
So, Adrian, we have spoken about this before. What is the actual definition of a job hopper today? Because we've seen job hoppers and we've seen people who strategically move jobs. So, what's the definition?
Portfolio careers.
And that's interesting because I knew this topic would be really interesting for FD because we've spoken about it many times before, but we never actually addressed it as a single topic, single session. What we're looking at is, the whole idea of job hopping is very archaic in a way. Okay, because in the old days where job stability was a given, and you would work like my dad worked in Standard Chartered Bank for close to 25 years, one job throughout, and that was considered as very stable. But if in today's context, if you stay in a company for 25 years, the next hiring manager could look at you and go like, wow, can this guy adapt to my new company environment, right? So it's changed, but the definition of job hunting has changed a lot as well. And it's very subjective, if you ask me. If I were to ask, we ran a poll and we asked, what is your definition of job hopping? Interestingly, the scenario was in a span of 8 years. Okay, if you change 4 jobs in 8 years, is that job hunting? Is that job hopping?
Yeah.
The bulk of them said no. If you change 6 jobs in 8 years, then that's considered as job hopping. So the standards have shifted to people being more accepting of 2-year stints in jobs.
Right.
In the bigger scheme of things. So it's very subjective as to, like for instance, my older brother, he's a doctor, and he used to look at my career story and go like, hey, you're a job hopper, So, no, because he is just one doctor retired, start work as doctor, retire as doctor, right?
Right.
So it's all very subjective. Whereas you talk to someone in technology, if you're not moving every a year and a half or 2 years to a bigger role, you're stagnant.
Hey, Adrian, let me ask you this question. So when you say job hopping, right? Okay, so let's say you're in the banking sector, right? So let's say you're the CEO of a bank, and then you move on to another bank, but you are in that same capacity. Is that considered job hopping?
And interestingly,
let's say if you jump from bank to
that's an excellent point, because interestingly, a lot of CEOs at the global level are brought in to change the course of the business within 3 years and then move on. You get a bonus and they move on. So if you look at the serial job hoppers, the CEOs are the biggest culprits if you were to think about it. But in that case, it's not job hopping because they are moving on from one role to another role, right? So then once again, it's very subjective.
So you're talking about different industries when it comes to job hopping?
Yeah, and there is a context behind it. Okay, so that's why we wanted to talk today about this, because some people are feeling, especially in the past in the past 2 years, in fact, past 3 years, the economy hasn't been good even before COVID struck. So people have shifted jobs maybe 2 or 3 times in the past 3 years, and they're feeling very insecure about, am I now labeled a job hopper? And that's why I wanted to bring this up, because we had clients coming to us and saying, hey, am I a job hopper? But we tell them, no, look, it's situational, it's contextual, the economy isn't that great. So let's not slap labels, let's talk about what we can do moving forward about it. But once again, it's contextual.
So are we saying, because you're saying CEOs are brought in to do a specific job, 3 years, they get their bonus, they leave. Are we saying then that people who are continuously headhunted are not job hoppers?
I think once again, if you ask me as an ex-8 hunter, basically it's the tenure of the role. If you're in a job, okay, let's be realistic. If you're in a job for first job, okay, in this job for 9 months, you quit. There's a 2-month gap. And then after that, you join another company 6 months, you quit. And then there's a 1-month gap. And then you join another company for a year and a half, and then you quit. And then there's a gap. That's job hopping.
Yeah.
Correct? That's quite clear, right?
It's negative.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, correct. But if you join a tech company or a company, okay, you run for about a year and a half, and then you get poached over by another company that's bigger, for a bigger title, a bigger position. And then you run with that for maybe a year and a half, maybe 2, and then you get promoted into another role, into another company elsewhere. So if there's an upward trajectory,
Then it's not job
not
hopping.
really.
it's not really job hopping, even though you're switching
Because you're
companies. So-
progressing,
Yeah.
yeah.
climbing that corporate ladder as such.
Yeah.
But to the outsider, if that's why if you're not positioning this correctly on your CV or when you talk on your LinkedIn profile, people look at the short jobs and they go like, "Oh, this guy every 5 jobs in the past 4 years," or.
But
and you
if
don't
that,
have the
but if that
contract.
hopping is going up each step, then it's fine, right?
Yeah, correct. And
Yeah.
also sometimes it's not your fault. If the company falls or if there's retrenchment and you leave, does that qualify you as a job hopper? It wasn't your fault, right? So,
Yeah.
So, but the whole reason why people have this discrimination against job hoppers is because when a hiring manager looks at the profile of someone who's been patchy, the first thing he's thinking is, "Whoa, this guy, if there is a opportunity elsewhere, he's going to jump, he's going to run, or if the going gets tough, he's going to go home, he's going to quit, right?"
Is there such a thing as a professional job hopper? Someone who can make a career out of job hopping?
Actually, yes, you can do it. No? It's there are some people who we used to see people who were permanently temporary.
Really?
Yeah, so they do gigs. They basically do gigs. It's like I got 9 months here in this role. I do a contract for 9 months, and then I move on. I take a break, and then I move on to something else. So they're permanently temporary. Their career is just basically contracts. And if it's part of your career strategy, it's fine.
Yeah,
It's good.
I have seen people. I've actually hired people like that. I have a project that's going to last a year.
Yeah, so that's project basis.
I hire
That's
you
project
for
basis.
a year, and then at the end of the year, project's done. You've gotten your salary every month. You get your bonus. You're gone.
But they're always doing the same thing, the same kind of role. Say, I don't know, that
yeah.
particular project. Like
Yeah.
an architect will always be designing something. But is this what you're referring to in different sectors, or is it someone who takes on projects that say, like what I mentioned, an architect who takes on designing different buildings? That's completely different, right?
That's if you're in the same company, then it's okay, right?
Okay.
I mean, different projects in the same company, but sometimes they're freelancers. The British and the Americans have a very nice fancy name for this. If you're a senior person and you're doing gigs like this, it's not called job hopping. They call it interim management.
Oh, I like that. I like
Yeah.
that.
Also, of course, right? Interim management.
Sounds
So
very
basically,
good.
they come in and they sort it out. So sometimes what we do for our clients is that the CFO has resigned. And it takes 6 months to backfill this person coming on board, but they need the CFO. And the CFO has resigned and say, I'm quitting, I'm dropping everything, I'm going off. You cannot operate for 6 months without a CFO, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we engage an interim
Okay. Okay.
manager to come in.
Okay, stand by. We're going back on air.
3,
Don't we have an interim as well now?
1.
Shake it like a Polaroid picture. Shake, shake, shake. Outcast with Heya right here on The Big Show, 1FM 91.3. We are also on The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is our career strategist, Adrian Chu from careeragility.org. If you would like to ask Adrian any questions or seek his guidance, you can get in touch with him at info@careeragility.org. All right.
A question we've got on our Facebook page from Frida is quite interesting. Frida, I think, works for a rather large organization because she says, I've gone from one department to another, to another, to another, to another within the organization. Is that called internal job hopping?
No, it's okay. I think the focus here is more about the concern which a prospective employer has is more towards whether or not you're going to stick in my company. So if you've moved internally within your own company, I think that's good. I mean, it shows that you've expanded, you've grown, you're progressing. But I'm more concerned as a boss if I were to hire this person who's been jumping jobs every 9 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the concern why they would discriminate against job hopping with justifiable reason, actually, if you ask me.
Yeah, I think we should discriminate against job hoppers. Yeah, my definition of a job hopper is totally negative. So it's like mindless job hopping because you can't hold a job down because you get unhappy after a while because someone says something about you. You just can't commit, and so you just move on from one job.
Right.
Doesn't necessarily have to be in the same industry. You're just moving on from one job to another just to make ends meet. You know what I mean? But you don't have a plan. It's just aimless.
But is that it, Adrian, or does that throwback to what we were talking about before with portfolio careers, as in freelancers? You know what I mean? People that don't know what they want to do, or have not found that perfect fit for themselves, and that's why they can't and don't want to hold down a job for too long.
And if you're early in your career, that's okay, you see. But if you're in your 40s and if you still haven't figured out what you are, and it's okay if you're in your 40s and you haven't figured out what you are or what you want to do. But if you're in your 40s and you're still hopping jobs and experimenting, that's very tough to explain to the prospective employer. But that's why the term job hopping has to be seen in context, as I said earlier offline. You have to see whether or not there was progression, whether or not it tells a career story of growth, whether it makes sense. If a person joins company A, gets retrenched, he joins company B gets retrenched again, because the industry is not doing well, right? And then so that I wouldn't hold it against him because it's not his choice that he quit.
Okay.
So we need to, when our clients come to us with career histories patchy like this, we train them how to tell a career story, to explain it away without looking back or without being defensive. And I think there's nothing wrong with that.
But Adrian, I'm sorry, I'm looking at this from an employer's point of view. So a guy works for a company and gets retrenched. Then he works for another company and gets retrenched. Once he's worked for the third company and gets retrenched, I don't so much look at the industry, but I look at him. How come you're the one always being retrenched?
Does that happen?
It does happen, and I've had superstitious clients who do not want to hire these people. But to be fair, it's in today's context, it's the people who are retrenched are not the non-performers. Okay. Right now, retrenchment hits everybody, whether or not you are a performer or non-performer, as long as the function is not there. So FD, there is some truth to the question about why is this person being retrenched so many times. Okay, it may not be due to his lack of performance or poor performance. It may be due to a skill set which he has but is no longer needed anymore. And that's why he's in that space, or he has a skill set which can be replaced by someone younger and cheaper, for instance, or someone offshore. So that's why one of the bigger questions we want to talk today about is if you have a patchy career history. Okay, I wouldn't want to label job hopper. Okay, if you have a history that's patchy, what can you do about it? And that's very important.
Well, let's deal with that when we come back.
Meantime, here's Roxette, fading like a flower on The Big Show, 1FM 91.3.
So the question, Adrian, then is, you've got this patchy history, as you said, what can you do about it? You've been hired, retrenched, hired, retrenched, hired, retrenched.
Or hired, quit.
Hired,
resign.
Yeah. So what can you do about it?
See a psychologist.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Get some help.
Get some help. I mean, come. That's what career experts like us are there for. But the big question you can actually DIY, ask yourself. Take a very long, hard, honest look at yourself. Why have you been quitting your previous jobs? I mean, was it in your control? Did you quit because the environment wasn't good, or sometimes? And there's no right or wrong answers. There was a period in my career where I switched. I changed 3 jobs in a period of 3 years as well. Okay, and it's okay because sometimes these hiccups, road bumps happen, but you need to stop and pause and ask yourself a very honest question: Why are you quitting these jobs?
But some people are very delusional.
Yeah,
they think they're not at fault. They're like, I quit because nobody likes me and I'm correct and I'm doing all the right things, but clearly that's not the company for me.
Angel, exactly. I have interviewed individuals before.
Yeah.
Patchy history. Every time when I say, why do you leave this company? Oh, the boss was very bad.
They blame everybody else, right?
My colleagues, my boss set very high targets for me. It's impossible to reach. My colleagues, they did not give me enough resources to do. So it's blaming everything. And these are the people who I would be afraid to put forward to my clients as a headhunter. Okay. So if you have a patchy history, okay, number one, you have to get real. Ask yourself why, and commit to make a more strategic move in the next round. Maybe, and it's fair, sometimes maybe because you just don't find meaning or you're bored with whatever you're doing already. then then next job, make sure you don't repeat it. Don't take the same job back again or similar job. Make sure that it's a better job for you and something more in line with what you want. Okay, but if you do have a patchy history, then you have to rehabilitate your CV as well. Sit down and this next job, I got to commit to spend at least 2.5 years, 3 years in it, no matter what, come what may.
Yeah.
Okay? Just to fix up your CV, because if you had 1 year, the least you can do is have one that's 3 years, 4 years, and then
at least you have one solid one that you can show.
Yeah, correct. Then you can say, look, that's why if you have a patchy career history right now, your next job you have to be very selective. Make sure it's one that you can stick around for long enough, and rehabilitate your CV, rehabilitate your career story.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think if you're at that point where you need to think long and hard because it's going to be like, a do or die kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then ask yourself this question, right? What do you think you're good at? And then just commit yourself to a job that is specific to that area, and then just stick to it. Just stick to it, Like, for example, if you're a flexible person, take up a yoga course and become a yoga teacher, perhaps. Maybe you'll be happy.
But there's some people that, like they don't know what they're worth, or they don't know what they want to do, or they think they're good at everything, but they're really not good at anything,
Well, this is the question I have. Exactly what Angel just brought up. I met a young person the other day.
How young?
Early 20s.
Okay.
First job.
That's young. Yeah.
First job. This is not what I thought it would be. So I wants to leave. So I said, what do you want to do? And this person said, well, I think I'll try that.
Mm-hmm.
Are people hopping because they don't stop and think about what they want? I think job hopping is created because you really don't know what the hell you want to do.
But Adrian said it's okay if you're young. You're still discovering yourself.
20s
It's okay.
is still okay.
But don't
Right,
you need
Adrian?
to think about what you can do?
And that's why you need to sit down and draw up a career strategy. That's why we're always talking about career strategy since 2 years back, right? So it's always about the strategy. Are you reacting or are you responding? Sometimes something comes up, oh great, I want to do it. You're reacting, but if there's no thought behind it or no strategy, you're reacting. You're not having a thoughtful response. So for instance, if sometimes a headhunter calls you up or an ex-boss calls you up, say, hey, I got this role for you. The money's better. And then you just join because of the money, and you go and you realize that, oh shucks, this is the reason why the money is better is because nobody wants that job. It's a terrible job.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. If it's too good to be true, then it always is, right?
It always is, yeah, right. So that's why you need to have that career strategy. That's why our clients come to us at their career crossroads. They're trying to figure out what to do next, but they don't have a framework. They don't have experts to talk to. That's why what we do is we sit down with them and ask them, what do you really want more of, and what do you want less of? Where do you plan yourself 2 jobs down the road? And there are frameworks which we sit down, and you need to have that clarity. Otherwise, you're just going to keep bouncing around.
Okay.
So
Forget what I said. Hold on.
Okay.
Forget what I said earlier on about going to see Jerry, Dr. Jerry. Go and see Adrian Chu.
Yeah. So Adrian, for anyone that is watching right now or listening in, and what is one thing that they can do today at home to make a list? Like, what kind of questions should they be asking themselves if they're facing this whole job hopping dilemma that they're in?
Okay, be realistic. Okay, the first thing you do is be realistic. What's the reason behind it? Or I don't want to say whose fault, because that's assigning blame, right? No, what's the real reason? Is it because the environments have been bad? You don't want to do your work, or you don't do that particular work, or has the industry has taken a huge beating in the past 2 years? Or maybe even because your skills are obsolete. Okay. And there's nothing else you can do anymore. Then you take number one, be very honest with yourself. What are the exact reasons? Okay. And then number 2, what can you do about it? What is if you want to jump into a job, the dream job or a better job, what is a better job? Is it more money, more excitement, a bigger title, or is it a downshift? What exactly is a better job? And then you define what's a better job, and then you go out. It's like when you want to go out for dinner. You figure out what type of food you want to go, which are the nice places to go. You don't if you just wander around a mall and that works as well. But especially if it's a big hot date you're going on, right? You want to plan everything nicely to make it work. Right? So you have to take a very long, honest look at yourself. And if you need help, just ask for help. Go and just drop us an email. We're happy to just bounce some ideas off you. But change it now rather than later.
And that's what you would do on a date as well. You would review all those restaurants that you want to go to as well, which is like reviewing the companies as well, doing your due diligence. Does it have good food? Does it have good history and stuff like that? Instead of just walking around like a headless chicken, right?
And I'm listening to Angel talk, and something just dawned on me. Tell me if I'm right, Adrian. We go to restaurants based on reviews these days, correct?
Yeah.
You can use that exact same system
For companies.
in your job.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's the one.
When we come back after traffic, I'm going to explain what my idea is and see if Adrian agrees with me.
I can see the light bulb flashing above
I hope,
FD's head.
I hope Adrian disagrees with me.
Okay,
so
yeah.
mean.
If he does, I want to know why.
Point 3 traffic.
Here we go. PIE towards Tuas, a vehicle broken down after Eng Neo Avenue. AYE towards Tuas, an accident before Buena Vista exit. Congestion is to Lower Delta Road, avoid lane 1. PIE towards Changi, an accident after Thompson Road. Congestion is to Stevens Road. That's a long one. We have Northbridge Road near High Street Junction. Roadworks there as well. Stay within the speed limit. Make sure you have everyone buckled up. Be safe as you drive today.
Good morning and welcome to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is Adrian Chu from careeragility.org, and it's over to FD now because FD has a plan.
Not a plan, an idea just dawned on me as Angel was talking. Adrian, I'm in a job and I feel it's not good, but I can make that job good. If we judge a restaurant by the reviews, and if we're in a company and we journal our days, that journal works like a review of your work, a review of your job.
Okay, like a testimonial?
Almost. And you can go back and recap everything that you've done over the last year or 18 months to decide really whether that job is not good or whether you need to step up more or whether you need to come up. You know what I'm trying to say?
So you're saying diary every day?
Diary every day.
It could be a single line or
whatever.
anything, yeah.
It's about what you're doing.
That's
Glenn
interesting.
says no.
No, I
No,
like
who's
the
going to
idea.
bother? Angel writes things. She's got a journal, and like people like me or all the other guys out there, or some girls even. I mean, we don't write anything down already.
No, there are so many other ways to do
Like
it.
how?
You can even voice record
voice
it.
recording.
You can key it down in your calendar.
What if the
which
person's
we
a
all-
mute?
Oh, get out of here, Glenn.
Then
Nonsense.
he can type
what if
it
a
down
person
in
has
his
no
phone.
hands, for example? Then
oh
how?
my goodness, Glenn.
Glenn, come on.
This is for the general population, okay?
Yeah. Okay. So, Adrian, what do you think? You can actually make that job, the job you want, if you keep a journal.
Yeah, and I think it's a great idea to keep a journal, but maybe not so not to Glenn's point. Okay, maybe not so formal as a journal.
Yeah.
Dear diary, today the boss looked at
not
me
that sort,
in a
yeah.
nice way. You're not gonna do that, right? But I think understanding what you like on your job, what you love on your job, what you have achieved on your job, may not be every day, but you got a great point, FD. What I like about the job, what I don't like about the job, and then you use that as a framework for what I want to pick for in my next job, what I want to look for in my next job.
Yeah. Or you
And
can,
then maybe-
you look back as well. If you've taken like 3 jobs in 1 year, you look back and you see a pattern. The problem could be you.
Yeah,
You know
it'll
what I
help
mean?
you
It
show
could-
the
it
pattern.
could- yeah, it shows
Yeah.
a pattern. I think
Gain
it's a
some
great idea. I'm
perspective.
all for it. I agree with you, FD.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
It looks
It's
like
such a good
Adrian,
habit.
Adrian says good as well. Okay,
It's
good.
a good habit, but
Yeah.
maybe not every day, because I think people like
Okay.
Glenn and me have no discipline to do every day.
Oh,
Okay.
nonsense.
I have
You
no
don't have to
discipline.
take Glenn's side, okay?
I have
you don't
no
have to.
discipline.
Adrian, you look like the kind of
Yeah.
guy who would do this.
If
Come on.
if I had discipline, I would have shoulders like Luke. Okay,
That's probably
which
true.
which I am aiming for. All right. Morning, Luke. By the way, morning. Yeah.
Okay, any last words, Adrian?
Okay, if you do have a career which you think has been patchy or jumpy, take a pause. Look, it's not all bad. Okay, your future starts today, and just pause and decide what you want to do. Decide what's the reason. Find out what's the reason why you've been hopping, And it can be helped, it can be changed. Maybe you just need to upskill, maybe you just need to know how to play the game. But over the weekend, just think about what do you want in your next job and how do you get there. And if you have any questions, just email me at info@careeragility.org. Always happy to help, and have a great weekend ahead, everyone.
Thank you so much,
Adrian.
Adrian.
See you next
Okay,
week.
take care, everyone.
Always a pleasure.
Okay, ciao. Take care, bye.
Take care.
All right, Luke Tan is in the house.
All right, Luke.
Good morning, Luke. You're muted.
You're muted, Luke.
Well, I just want to say
Yes.
this about.
Sorry, I just do the Zoom thing
Go
all
ahead.
the time. You're muted. Oh, sorry.
So, Luke, this morning you're going to be teaching us a
to
little
work
bit
our
more
shoulders.
about,
Yeah,
about
basically
breathing.
how to work out shoulders. Yeah,
Hey,
breathing
but you know what?
and working out shoulders.
I always introduce you as, our personal development coach and our veducator. But I don't tell people that you're also a fitness coach.
Yes.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Right.
Fitness
So
coach,
that's yeah. I mean,
all rolled into one.
You look like you could train people.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right now, I'm actually training someone just down below.
Right now? He's
My
multitasking.
baby girl.
Oh, your
Oh.
baby girl. All right, Luke,
200 push-ups.
today you're going to be talking about stressing less and breathing more. We're very, very excited. We're going to
Indeed.
go on the Big Show TV so we can do some breathing with you. You want to just give a little snippet about what you're going to do?
Sure. So right now,
yes.
Just a
Okay,
snippet,
yeah.
but
So
not
it's
the
like,
breathing, yeah.
Okay, just a snippet. So basically what we want to do is I'm going to introduce you to some breathing practices and how to optimize your breathing. And the moment you breathe better, you're going to stress less, you're going to digest better, but you're also going to live more. So breathing 101 today.
Awesome.
right.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Here's Coldplay right now. Up and Up on The Big Show. 1FM 91.3.
It's so funny. Every time Luke says he's going to teach you how to breathe better, I take a deep breath.
Yes,
It's like-
yes.
it's like,
Get ready for
okay,
it.
my nostrils are working. All right, let's do this.
I will
Yeah,
always
yeah.
exhale first. Exhale first.
Except for Okay, Luke.
Exhale. Yes, so yeah, exactly. I just wanted that because I think based on the feedback from last week, you guys were quite interested in breathing,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
thought we just kind of explore that topic a little bit more. And during this session also, because I know FD, you used to, maybe you're still suffering from respiratory issues. Like for me, I used to suffer from asthma.
Asthma, yeah.
So I wanna go into that a little bit more, and for people who are possibly suffering from respiratory issues, I know with COVID and things like that, there's some aspects that might improve the way you breathe and maybe rely less on pharmaceuticals, because I know what it's like to be bound to be kind of hooked on pharmaceuticals, not by choice, but because I need it. So hopefully the tips that I'll share will help people breathe a little bit better. So as I shared the last week, I mean, our primary fuel source is air. I mean, we can go without eating for a few weeks, without drinking for a few days, but the one fuel source that we do not think about is air. And a lot of times it's something that we kind of forget because we do it so automatically, even when we close our eyes, when we sleep. But when we actually do focus on how we breathe and actually breathe intentionally, there is so much that we can achieve just from a cognitive space, but also emotional awareness, but also being extremely present. You know, when you're in a fight or flight mode, we're always stressed. You're thinking about the past, worrying about the future. You're not fully present. So it really brings you down to the present moment. So on many counts, and of course for athletic performance, for recovery, all that good stuff also helps with learning how to breathe better. And I guess this is a very pertinent topic for me because I've suffered from chronic asthma all of my life. I used to knock my parents' door, go to Thompson Medical, say, "Ma, Pa, I can't breathe," and they're just like rushing out because I was just. So I've had lung issues all my life, and being in this space, in the health space, I found that was the one thing I could not improve, although being in fitness and improving my diet, until I learned how to breathe properly. And it has literally been a game changer. I would say in the past 7 to 8 months, I've been in the industry, fitness industry, health and fitness industry, probably about more than a decade or so. But only in the last 7 months, I've improved my breathing and eliminated my
But how did you receive such good results? Although your breathing wasn't fantastic, I mean, you were still, working out and gaining muscle and stamina and all that. How do you do that when your breathing is not optimal though?
I think I worked through it because there were CrossFit competitions where I competed, right? And my inhaler was just literally next to me.
Yeah.
And I was just doing the rower, and so much so that I just literally I just keep going. So you work through it, you just kind of find what works for you and you get through it. And I've learned how to be calm because I remember having a massive asthma attack in the plane, and I didn't have an inhaler around.
You must have panicked, right?
But I've learned how to regulate my breathing, just not to stress. I mean, the first thing when you swallow water when you're swimming, the last thing you want to do is panic that I'm drowning. Yeah. Just follow it and just chill. And that's what I did with asthma when I have my asthma attacks. Is chill. So yeah, I managed it, and I felt like I was impaired. By that, I felt like my performance was limited. So ever since now, 7-8 months ago, really focusing on that and learning a lot more about it, it's improved significantly. So yeah, I think getting straight into breathing. I mean, the tips and the points that I want to cover today is, I think I mentioned briefly, nasal breathing is really the fundamental of everything. And I was thinking about what you were saying last week, Glenn, about you feel like you can perform a lot better running when you mouth breathe to a certain degree. Yeah. So there's this effect called the Bohr effect by a scientist called Christian Bohr, and what I've actually found in my research is that once you actually condition yourself to nasal breathe, you can actually improve your oxygen. And why? Because with this particular effect called the Bohr effect is the more CO2 you have in your system, and this will all relate to what you say, the point earlier. The more CO2, carbon dioxide, you have in your system, the more acidic your blood is. The more acidic your blood is, the more your blood actually releases oxygen into your tissues. So meaning your lung tissues and your muscle tissues. So why does that matter? Because if you have more CO2 in you, it means that you get more oxygen. But however, if you mouth breathe a lot, you're pushing out a lot more CO2. So you won't have enough CO2 in there to push the oxygen into your tissues. So that's why nasal breathing, you don't actually breathe out too much CO2. I mean, it's kind of balanced. So that is one point. By nasal breathing, you actually improve your oxygen uptake into your muscle tissue, into your lung tissue as well. That's why it improves your recovery after you get over the habit of mouth breathing. And the thing is that because we have been, I would say, I said this last week, we have devolved and we have become chronic mouth breathers. It has resulted in chronic sleep deprivation, things like sleep apnea as well. And because when we mouth breathe, our mouth is actually open and our tongue is not sitting correctly.
Right.
And that actually changes our whole facial structure. Wow. When you actually close your mouth, your tongue actually sits where it's meant to sit, and your facial structure actually changes, but also it improves reduces your risk of chronic disease. There's a lot of research showing that nasal breathing, mouth breathing actually relates to things like diabetes and hypertension and all the other chronic diseases. So especially when you think of it as your primary fuel source. I mean, obviously nutrition is another aspect, lifestyle factors, but if it's your primary fuel source, maybe it's time to reconsider that. So that's nasal breathing.
But it's so funny, right? Because if we think about it, right? Okay, we're breathing through our nose right now, and then you breathe through your mouth, let's say. Can you tell the difference?
Yes.
Most of us, I feel there's more air coming out of my mouth, like what you say with the CO2 than from my nose.
Yeah.
That's what I feel.
Okay, so there is a difference, and there are different effects as well. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And but you in athletic performance, you can actually use mouth breathing to increase your recovery, and I'll go into that in the last few points. So definitely nasal breathing, you get more air in. And also you get that filtration of your mucous membranes and also your nasal hairs to cool and warm the air depending on the climate.
And clean the air as well, right?
Yes,
I mean, it cleans
clean
the
the
air
air.
going in. Yeah, it's a natural filter.
Yeah, because of the
Your nose,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, hold on. We're going for a traffic break. Yeah.
1FM 91.3 traffic.
The PIE towards Changi, a vehicle broken down before Paya Lebar Road. Look out for that. AYE towards Tuas, an accident before Buena Vista exit. Congestion is to Lower Delta Road. That's about it for now. Please stay within the speed limit. Have everyone buckled up. Be safe as you drive today.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest is Luke Tan, our personal development coach, veducator, and fitness coach as well. He's teaching us breathing techniques this morning, and we were just talking on The Big Show TV about the difference between nasal breathing and breathing in through the mouth. And apparently, I mean, there are different effects, on the body, depending on what you do.
Okay. Luke, we have a question from Nina on our Facebook page. Quite interesting. She says, I've been trying nasal breathing for a while, but it seems like I'm not getting enough air in.
It does feel that way.
What
sometimes.
is she doing wrong?
Without knowing the full, I mean, I don't know whether you've got nasal issues. Sometimes if your nasal passage is blocked as well, it may affect as well. I actually find that it's certain times with clients that I work with, when they're in air-conditioned rooms a lot, the nasal cavity might be kind of contracted and locked, and that might prevent the air from going in. And I'm not sure how long you've been doing it, because it takes a bit of time to kind of get into that, train that muscle to a certain degree. It's just it's creating that neuromuscular connection. Well, not really muscular, but really creating that connection. So not being able to get enough air, I think you also want to focus on not just breathing in, but also, which is one of the points that I'm going into later, breathe into your diaphragm. So your diaphragm is your principal muscle of respiration. So some people may just nasal breathe like that.
Shallow
but
breathing.
just breathing really shallow. But really, if you really want to optimize your whole full breathing capacity, you really want to go.
Yeah.
And that's when you can get a lot of air. And as
You got to be in the right posture as well, right?
Right posture, shoulder blades back. And the thing is that if you actually want to do a breathing practice, you don't want to be sitting hunched over. Ideally, you want to be in like a lotus position if you can get in there. Or even in cross-legged, because that opens up your chest cavity and that opens up your hips. Because the moment when you collapse like that in your breathing, you're working with not much. Yeah. So the thing is that I think it's also, posture is one of those things where, of course, we're always in this posture a lot. But I think it's also being able to be conscious of saying, all right, keep my shoulder blades back, take a deep breath in. Because I would safely say that if you're standing like that and breathing into your diaphragm, filling your belly up, you're likely gonna get a lot of air, sufficient air, and really reap the benefits of deep breathing, I would say.
When I first started yoga as well, and they always do a lot of breathing with yoga as well, and nasal breathing, single nasal breathing and stuff like that.
Correct.
I could never imagine my actual diaphragm filling up. It was always very difficult for me. I kind of was pushing my tummy out on purpose, pretending that I was actually getting that air in, but it was very shallow. But now that I've done it more, as you say, with everything, practice makes perfect, right? I actually can feel my chest expand with every breath that I take, especially with you. But I'd love to, if we can go through a short exercise when we go on the Big Show TV.
Yeah, absolutely. But I just want to say something, for Nina, because we know Nina quite well, and I think when she's asking this question about not being able to get enough air in, it's because she does CrossFit. And she does a lot of heavy lifting as well.
Perfect.
So I think that's it. Do you have anything for her?
Yeah, if now that I know that you're a CrossFitter, so I think it really depends. I find in CrossFit particular WODs, it's hard to nasal breathe, especially, for example, we take a WOD called Fran, especially when you're doing thrusters, when it's hard because it's such high intense. Nasal breathing works a lot better if you're in a rhythmic kind of exercise, like running or swimming or rowing or doing on your assault bike and things like that. However, if you're into CrossFit, I'm actually going to share some specific breath protocols that will help you recover in between sets.
Oh, great.
Okay,
That's
great.
fantastic. All right.
Awesome. Continue to watch us on The Big Show TV while we take a listen to Tears for Fears right now. Roland Oswald and Kurt Smith. This is Head Over Heels on 1FM 91.3.
One song.
One song. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Cool. All right.
So firstly, Angelique, great point about the connection. You know, it takes a bit of time to create. It's just like when you're training a certain muscle. When I start with a client, I can't feel my shoulders. I just feel it. But after a while, okay, I'm starting to feel in my delts. I'm starting to feel in my chest. It just takes a bit of time. So that's number one, being conscious. So deep diaphragmatic breathing. I mean, what is your diaphragm? Your diaphragm is a dome-shaped membranous structure that sits around here. And you're right, you don't really feel it working because it's really a muscle that pulls air in. So think of the muscle, think of this diaphragm here as here it pulls the air in, and as it pulls the air, it inflates your chest. And when it releases, when it relaxes, that's when the air goes. So that's why every time you pull in, the chest expands, you release, it shoots air out. So that's why deep diaphragmatic breathing. So what we're going to do is a little bit of an exercise. And I really want you guys to really keep your shoulder blades back. Close your eyes or soft gaze if you want to. And just really focus on breathing into your belly, okay? In 3, 2, 1, and breathe in through your nose. And really focus on filling your belly up. And release. And as you're releasing, feel your kind of stomach flatten and almost pull your stomach in as if someone's about to punch you in the guts. And do that same thing again. Inhale all the way in, fill your belly up as much as you can. And if you can fill it up even more, to fill your chest up, and hold for about a second, and then release and really feel that emptiness and that deflation of your belly and pulling your belly to your spine. So really pulling the air in, all the way in, and releasing all the way out. So taking deep, full breaths. If you can, take it for 4 seconds in. Hold for a second. And 4 seconds out. Fully deflating and really feeling that belly full. And open up your eyes.
I'm ready to rule the world.
I've got to say, Luke, I once tried this when I was working 5 months at home, guys. Remember, I used to take my walks in the morning?
Yep.
And I used to do this deep breathing before I went for a walk. And the first few times I tried it, I got giddy.
Yeah.
Right.
Oxygen in your head.
I think it's because I'd never taken breaths that deep.
So deep.
And suddenly I was filled with oxygen and I was like,
Also
high
like
on
in the
oxygen.
gym the night before.
Yeah, like
That
I feel
does
a bit
happen.
high now as well.
That does
Yeah,
happen,
it
right?
does, yeah.
That does happen,
Oxygen.
especially when you're new to it, especially when, because it takes a bit more pressure, especially if you do things like Kapalbhati, which is kind of like an energizing breath, that will actually cause you to start feeling like, whoa, all of that oxygen is released into your head, and the blood flow as well, and that's why you can get a little bit dizzy. So the other exercise that you can do, I look at the diaphragm as a muscle. You can actually train your diaphragm, and you have the stronger your diaphragm is, the more air the more it will pull into your lungs and into your system. So how you actually train? I'm just going to pull my camera down. So if I do this right, imagine if someone the camera walks by and you're topless. What do?
Suck your stomach
You
in.
stuck your stomach
Your
in.
stomach in, right?
Yeah.
I was like, six pack. So basically, how you do that is, what I can do, this is something that I'll show it to you first. So you take a deep breath in and exhale, fully exhale, and then after that,
A few times.
You pump your
so
stomach.
about 10, pump my stomach for 10 times. So literally, as in the exhalation, where I've got no more air in my system, I exhale. So let's do that together. So
Okay.
deep. So take a deep breath in, And take a deep breath out. And then empty everything so much so, and pull your tummy to your spine and just kind of flex your abs in and out for about 10 reps. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And take a deep breath in and relax. So that is something that you can do to train your diaphragm. So literally just go squeezing for about 10 reps. Yes, you're about to say something.
Yeah, are you pumping your breath as well, or you just
No.
You're holding your exhale
I'm holding my exhale
out
and still pumping.
And just through the nose, right? So you're emptying even more.
Emptying even more. I empty everything, and then in that emptied state, that's when I flex.
Yeah, that's what they teach in yoga
You're
as
actually
well.
working that area out.
You are.
man.
You're working the
work
muscles.
out.
Yeah.
So
I
not
just-
only
I just want to
go
clarify
ahead.
something. So when I'm doing that pumping, I am not still exhaling. I am not. My
No.
breath is
You
held.
finish your
It's
exhale.
correct.
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
held.
correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Correct.
And then you
So
can
you're-
repeat that a few times, right?
You can repeat that 3 sets of 10. You know,
Okay.
for me, I do 100 reps, basically 10 reps. 10 reps of 10 sets.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Okay.
Certain degree.
Okay.
So 100 reps. I do that after my breath practice. So that's diaphragmatic breathing. So the next one is, I would say without going, maybe I'll skip this one for now, but I will go into specific breath patterns for now, at least for the listener that was asking about the CrossFit. Nina. So breath patterns, I think relaxation breath, you could do things like box breathing, which is literally like 5 seconds in, 5 seconds hold, 5 seconds out, 5 seconds hold. So it's literally a box pattern, and you can do that 3 to 5 minutes a day. So that's number one. Number two, another breath pattern is mother's breath, like 4 seconds in, 7 seconds hold, 8 seconds out. So the final one, which is very, very easy, is a 1 to 2 breath ratio. So you take, we can do this for about 3 rounds. So so we're going to go for 4 seconds in and 8 seconds out. All right. We're going to meet at the exhale. So we're going to exhale now. 3, 2, 1, exhale. And in for 4 seconds. 2, 3, 4, and hold for 1. And release for 8 seconds. Slow it down, nice and slow. 4, 3, 2, 1, and inhale for 4. And hold for 1. And out for 8. Remember diaphragmatic breathing. 1 more, and in for 4. And hold. And out for 8. So that's a very, very simple one for just relaxation. 1 to 2 breath ratio.
Yeah, you really feel good.
So the 4-7-8 breathing I do a lot of, especially when I'm anxious, because I think it's known as like the tranquilizer breath as well, and
Correct.
also when I can't sleep. I find when I get my heart
Definitely.
rate up when I'm anxious about something or I'm nervous about something, I do the 4-7-8, and it really helps.
It puts you to sleep.
It
yeah.
puts me to sleep as well. Yeah, when
Indeed,
on nights
indeed.
that I can't sleep.
I have a gin coke, by the way. When I'm
Gin and
feeling
Coke.
anxious.
To each his own.
And do breathing as well.
Of course you do.
In
yeah.
between sips. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any last words, Luke?
Last one. I guess last words. I want to finish up on. I mean, at least for the breath patterns for Nina, for people who are athletes. This is something that I use. So if you're in between workouts and you really need to recover quickly, there's this thing called the double clutch breath. So what the double clutch breath, it sends in a lot more oxygen and allows for you to recover faster. So it's 2 sharp breaths in through your nose and 1 big exhale through your mouth. So
Through your
especially in
mouth, okay.
between
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
When you sprint, you do that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, correct. So that will be a double clutch. So 2 breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And then the next one would be I call it 5-7-9. So let's say if you've got a short period of time that you want to recover quickly. So 5 breaths just mouth breathing, 7 breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth, and 9 breaths in and out through your nose. So you start with just only mouth and nose, and then nose to nose.
Whoa, I like that feeling.
Wow.
I just went up to that second. Okay, so
Can
the
you do
first
that
one is
again?
through the
Yeah.
mouth. Okay, how many
So-
breaths?
It could be 3, 5, 7 or 5, 7. Let's go 3, 5, 7 for
Okay.
now. So 3, 1, 2, 3, and then now the second one is 5. And then just nose 7. So 3, 5, 7 or 5, 7, 9. So you're literally alternating.
That makes
I'm
me
actually
feel very
starting
lightheaded.
to- Yeah, right now as well.
Yeah.
Are you getting a lot of oxygen in?
So that's
nice.
good
Of
for
course
when
you get
you're
so much
working out, is
oxygen,
it?
yeah.
Working out in between, especially
Okay,
working
okay.
out in between
So
hard,
not when
really,
you're
really
not
hard
when you're at
session.
resting,
Wow.
because resting gives you
No.
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Everything is brighter now as well.
It is all
So-
brighter.
So this
isn't
is
it?
really good because I mean, obviously the oxygen is going to the brain.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And
Correct.
the more oxygen, that goes to the brain, the better for the individual, right?
Better if we're focused, stress
Cognitive,
management, cognitive. I mean, digestion, as I shared last week, you activate the vagus nerve, which is the wandering nerve, which hits your digestion, your stomach, your liver, your kidneys, your intestines, and your lungs, of course. So it really changes your whole body composition and chemistry. And that's why breath is something that is often not thought of, but it should be the one thing that you should remember.
Okay, fantastic.
Excellent.
Thank you so much, Luke. That was a
Wow.
fantastic
Brilliant.
session.
Oh, no
right,
worries.
that's good.
Anytime.
Superb.
Didn't cover it all. Maybe we'll cover next week more.
Just
For sure, for
Just
sure.
to let you
Yeah.
know, Luke, Nina was on a bus watching this and she was practicing all that you taught her
Aw.
on the bus.
Yay! It can be done anywhere.
Bravo, Nina. Bravo.
And by the way, you look leaner this week, Luke.
Thank you.
Have you been
Thank
eating
you.
less
It's-
vegetables or
Is
what?
the lighting? No, actually,
What do you
I
mean
did about 100
vegetables?
push-ups just before I started. So I had to look good for the show.
Of course.
Just to get it popping going.
Oh, please, you wake up like that. Okay.
I know.
Thanks, Luke.
Yeah,
Thank you so
See
much,
you in the
Luke.
morning, guys.
Bye.
Have a wonderful
See you,
day.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And that was the one and only Luke Tan, of course.
Yeah, and coming up, we have Sean Chua. You know what
Yeah.
I want to get Luke to do next week? Posture.
Yes.
Because he was talking about how breathing and posture go hand in hand, right? And not
Yeah.
enough people have good posture. So I'll send him a text, or if he's still watching, Luke, posture next week.
Nina's
that's
final
very important.
Nina's final comment on our Facebook page was damn shook.
Damn sure.
Hey, don't play the fool, Nina, man. She's strong, okay?
Ah.
She is.
I think she deadlifts like 250 kilos, no?
Oh,
That's
what?
more
See,
than
look
now.
at Sean's
No,
eyes.
he's like,
I'm
what?
100 already at my back pain.
Right now, Nina, tell us.
Yeah,
Nina,
she's
what
a-
do you deadlift? Come on, get on Facebook.
What's
let
your
us know.
PB?
Peanut butter.
Yeah.
And
maybe
we're waiting
200
for
man.
we're waiting
I don't
for
know.
Sean Chua.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
waiting.
There he
you
is.
go.
There he is.
We're on a 20-second delay, so.
20-second delay for? What?
When he watches Facebook.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yo, Sean!
Good morning.
Hey.
Good morning. Oh, crap. I was going to do a little joke like
Oh, too late,
what
too
happens
late.
to everyone, right?
Too
It's
late,
okay,
yes.
it's okay.
Yeah. How's everyone this cold, rainy morning again?
Awesome.
We are
It's
very
lovely.
Okay,
good.
I hope you're doing the breathing exercises early on if you were watching.
You were?
Yeah,
Okay,
because I think it
fantastic.
really helps, no? It really does
Yes,
help.
it really does.
It
It
does.
does.
It does.
I feel like I got
So
a bit of a
good, so
headache
good.
though. Is it?
No, but
Not enough
but
oxygen
I'm
to your
telling you,
head.
living proof. I haven't used my ventilator in so
Really?
long.
Oh, that's
You've got a
fantastic.
ventilator?
My Ventolin?
Oh, Ventolin.
Ventolin,
Ventilator
that's
is different, no?
Yeah.
Ventilator is different.
Yeah, boy.
My pump.
Ventilator
pump.
is right next to your
Yeah,
bed, no?
My pump.
Yeah.
Call you
Your
babe.
Ventolin, your
My
Ventolin.
Ventolin.
Yeah.
In like,
Darkness is your
Inhaler.
Yeah, inhaler.
but really,
I am your
it's so-
father.
Ventilator.
my
Knock on wood, boy.
my Ventolin was my father for the longest time.
Oops. All right.
Okay, Sean.
Okay.
I see
so,
dummies in front of you.
Okay. So this
Is a book
this
called
is a book.
Mansion
to
Music.
show you-
I was
Magic
wondering
for
whether it was
Dummies.
Magic for Dummies.
I saw dummies. I knew it was something for
I never
dummies.
knew there was
Yeah,
a
so this
magic
is
for
the-
dummies.
This is the book where Stefano learned his magic from because it was specifically created for people like him.
All right.
So bad.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's terrible.
So we're gonna do something with this. Okay, it's also where I kind of learned my first few tricks. We'll get to this in a while, and we'll start with these. Now, this is not actually a card trick. What we're gonna do is we're gonna use these as bookmarks. Okay.
Okay.
Or rather, a bookmark. Okay. So since FD's nickname is Mark.
Okay.
Bookmark. Yeah,
No,
correct.
his name
My
is
name
Mark.
is
His
Mark.
name
His nickname is FD. But
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
everyone.
We forget sometimes.
Yeah,
as
nobody
well.
uses the mark. Yeah.
All right. So FD, since that's your name,
Yeah.
why don't you pick the bookmark? Just say stop anytime wherever you stop.
Stop.
At, we'll pull up. Oh wait, hang on. Okay.
Yes, it's
and
not it.
right now,
Stop.
right here.
Oh, no, it's not
He
me.
said
Okay.
FD.
So not this one, of course. Okay. So definitely not this one, but this one right here. Have a look at that
Yep,
card.
cool.
Okay. Remember it.
Yep.
Okay. So that would be your bookmark. And I'm just going to add a few more just to mix things up a little bit. Those that were close to where you stopped at. Okay. And we don't need the rest of the cards. Okay. So just a handful of cards here. Let's mix them up. So one of these is yours. The rest are just random. Okay. And we are going to mark pages in the book, obviously.
Okay.
Okay. So one at a time, you guys are just going to call stop as I riffle through. Wherever you stop at, we'll shove a bookmark in there.
Oh, I like that. I like that word shove. Shove it up there. I mean, in there.
In there. Yeah. Okay.
And go ahead.
So let's try, let's say Angel first as I go through, right? Just say
Stop.
stop and I'll...
Yeah, right there. Hey,
Never,
No, no.
never let him start one. Yo.
but
Okay,
no,
okay.
do it again.
Anytime.
Stop.
Here, okay. So I shove a bookmark in there. Okay, Sean, next.
Stop.
Here.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Glenn,
That's a
next.
few
Actually, I realize
pages.
Angel
Stop.
is a troublemaker. Okay, again, go. Okay.
Glenn,
It's your
anytime.
turn. It's your turn.
Waiting.
Stop.
Here. Okay.
Correct. Right. there.
FD.
Stop.
Okay. We have a couple more.
Shalini, you tell.
Shalini, we have
Shalini.
Shalini, come on in.
Okay.
Tell
Shalini.
him when to
Okay,
stop.
tell him when to stop. Huh? Okay.
Stop.
Here. Okay.
All right.
One last one. Anyone?
Yeah.
Stop.
Rocky.
Okay.
Rocky says stop.
Okay.
Yeah. Rocky
All right.
Topaz.
So we've got a few bookmarks shoved in here, one of them of which is your bookmark, okay? So we're going to find your bookmark and see where you guys stopped your card at. I don't even know what the card is.
No,
okay?
neither do we.
Yeah.
No, FD remembers that.
FD,
FD,
I
you
know my
remember.
card. I know my card.
All right. So you remember your card and let's see where you stopped at, okay? Let's go through the bookmarks. Let's look for first one. Was this it?
No.
Okay. Next one. Was this it?
Nope.
You don't
Okay.
use bookmarks very often, do you? You should put them at the top of the page.
Oh yeah, we were gonna shove it in, remember?
See, I mean, troublemaker, is it?
Nope.
That's why. Yo.
Nope.
No.
Okay. This?
No.
Nope.
Okay. This one.
Yes.
Okay. So right here, hang on. There should be, I think. There's one last one here.
Yeah.
Okay. So these are not your bookmarks. Yours was somewhere here. There we go.
Yes.
Okay. Now, have a look at where you stopped at. That is page 276.
Okay.
Can you see that?
276.
Yeah.
Okay.
And 277.
Yeah.
Okay.
Luckily, the numbers are big. Huh?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And that's why
It's for
I chose
dummies,
to
It's
use
for dummies. That's why.
It's for dummies.
And here's the weird thing, I was noticing as we pulled out the bookmarks, one of which was yours, okay, and the rest of them just happened to have these numbers, which is
Wow, the page number.
7,
Oh.
6,
277.
7, 7.
Damn.
FD.
Nicely done.
Okay, hang on.
Hi.
Not yet. Not yet.
Oh, not
That
finished?
might have been a coincidence, okay? But
Okay.
I want you to just have a look at the first sentence up here. Of course, not the word party time, but what's just below. Can you guys see the first
No,
word?
No, we
no,
can't.
we
Let,
can't.
let me let me read it. Let me read it. Okay.
The
freakishness of this
of
this
miracle
miracle
is that the person you're with.
All right,
Something.
that should be good enough,
Okay,
okay?
okay,
That should be good enough.
Okay.
So you guys stopped here. The cards just kind of lined up with the page number.
Yeah.
But I had this here the entire
Yeah.
time.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Haven't touched it.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And I was also wondering about the freakishness of this miracle.
What?
Wow.
I don't know. That's some freakish coincidence we have today.
Wow.
Nicely
Oh,
done. Well
nicely
done,
done,
well
Sean.
done, well done, well done.
Good one.
Magic for
well
dummies,
done.
guys. Magic for dummies.
Well done.
You're a bit freaky, man.
Everyone's going out to buy that book now.
Yeah, buy
Everybody
this
gonna buy
book.
4D now.
Awesome. Hey,
6D. I think that was 6 numbers.
so did anyone sign up for your magic class?
Last week?
Oh yeah,
Remember?
we have a few people who are interested. I'm just gonna try to arrange for a day where everyone can do it, and we'll do some live thing. Probably teach them that trick we did, and a few other simple ones that can complement that. It's gonna be really easy. Just need a normal deck of cards, and you can do so many quick miracles with that.
Awesome.
Yeah, right.
Get in touch with Sean at Sean V Me on Instagram. That's a ventriloquist, magician, entertainer, if you find
Yeah.
it hard to remember.
And women love magic. So guys, if you learn magic,
It's
you're gonna get all the girls.
Some quick pickup tricks.
a pickup trick.
And now we know why Sean always has a smile on his face.
All right, thank you so much,
Thanks,
Sean.
All right, thank you guys.
All
Enjoy
right.
the weekend. See you next
Bye-bye.
week.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Watch this. I'm gonna make Sean disappear.
Oh,
Oh,
Perfect.
well done,
you
man.
went to his class. Well done. Robert.
Yeah, good job, Glenn.
Good job. Good job.
Well, I shouldn't be happy actually, but because I really love the tricks that he does.
It's great. His card tricks are
If we had
great.
more time,
Yeah, his card tricks are really,
Would be
really good.
Yeah.
Really
He should teach us one day.
It'll
Like
take,
for the
it'll
fun
take
of
like
it.
an hour just to teach
Will
you
it?
all. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Really?
amount of questions you'll ask.
Oh,
He dig, no?
yeah. Glenn's
Okay.
always full of questions.
That's why. Now 9:05 already.
That's
Everybody
true.
say bye-bye.
Yeah, okay,
Okay.
bye. KFC till tomorrow for Mark and Sutra Friday.
Share the video.
Bye-bye.